You know, hidden in the walls of your house, your office, pretty much every building you've ever been in, there's this invisible rulebook. You've probably never seen it, but it's the only thing making sure the lights turn on and everything, well, doesn't catch on fire. Today, we're going to unpack this massive, super complex, and absolutely critical document that powers our entire modern world. Yeah, it's a fair question, right? You flip a switch, your AC kicks on, you get cool. It seems so simple. But behind that one simple action is a 900-page behemoth of a book. So what on earth does a giant book have to do with you enjoying a nice cool breeze on a hot day? Well, as it turns out, pretty much everything. It's called the National Electrical Code, or just the NEC for short. And you can basically think of it as the ultimate safety manual for all things electrical here in the United States. Its entire reason for being is to protect people and property from electrical dangers. And believe me, it gets into an incredible amount of detail to do that. Okay, so to really get what makes the NEC so good at its job, you first have to appreciate its just massive scale. This isn't some friendly little pamphlet with a few tips. No, this is a whole library of regulations covering practically every electrical situation you could possibly imagine. I mean, look at this. The code is broken down into 9 big chapters. And just look at the scope here. It goes from general wiring and protection all the way to special equipment, special places like hospitals, and even communication systems. It is a literal mountain of information. Trying to read this thing from front to back would be, well, it'd be a heck of a challenge. So instead of trying to climb that whole mountain, let's do what a real electrician would do. We're going to find a specific path to get a specific answer. We'll start by just focusing on one little piece of the code, Chapter 2, which is all about wiring and protection. And to really see how this all works, we're going to zoom in even further. We're going to zero in on one single instruction inside that chapter, a rule for something a lot of us use every day, the motor that runs your air conditioner. Okay, here it is, Rule 220.50. At first glance, it just looks like a dense block of text, lots of numbers and jargon. But take a closer look at what it's actually telling you. It doesn't really give you a direct answer on what to do, does it? And that right there is the secret to the entire NEC. It's not a list of answers, it's a map. Each rule is like a little signpost that points you exactly where you need to go next. So here's how that map works in practice. That one rule, 220.50, it's like a fork in the road. If you're just dealing with a standard motor, it sends you down one path to Article 430. But because we're working with a very specific piece of equipment, an air conditioner, it sends you down a completely different path to Article 440. It's all about specific cross-references. And this right here reveals the basic logic of the whole code. You start with a general rule, then you figure out your specific situation, you follow the reference, the signpost that the code gives you, and only then do you find the nitty-gritty details you need. Every single rule is just one part of this huge interconnected web. Now, at this point, you might be thinking, wow, this seems really complicated. Why not just list all the rules in one place? But here's the thing. That complexity isn't a bug in the system. It's actually its most important feature. It's the very thing that makes the code so good at keeping us all safe. And this is why it's designed that way. This web-like structure, it ensures precision. A giant air conditioner has totally different safety needs than a little desk fan motor, right? If you just use the general motor rule for your AC, you might use a wire that's way too thin, and that's a serious fire hazard. This system forces context. No rule is ever an island. It all works together to create this amazing safety net. And this is also why it's not a DIY manual. It's a tool for trained professionals who actually know how to read the map. So when you look at that 900-page book, don't just see a boring list of rules. See it for what it really is. A brilliant, interconnected system of pure logic, a carefully built map with one single goal in mind, keeping you and your property safe from the incredible power that runs our world. Kinda makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other complex, invisible rulebooks are out there, quietly working in the background, just keeping your world running and safe every single day?